A mere 3 decades ago, South Africans, regardless of race, were on average up to 10 times richer than people in many developing economies throughout Asia, South America, and even many European countries. We had a booming economy with low unemployment. Since then, the world and especially Asian countries like Korea and Eastern European countries like Poland has gotten far, far richer, but the people here at the southern tip of Africa have tragically been left behind. You see, before the ANC took over, South Africans were on average far more wealthy than Koreans or Poles, regardless of their race. The numbers tell a story that can't be spun or explained away in any sense by the ANC. For more than 3 decades, the world surged ahead, and South Africa slipped further and further behind, losing ground and falling far behind the very nations that we once outperformed by vast margins. For the past 32 years, South Africans have become significantly poorer relative to the rest of the world. While the global economy has moved on, countries have industrialized, invested, built skills and lifted millions out of poverty, especially in Eastern Europe and Asia, South Africa has been sliding backwards for well over 3 decades. Our share of the global income has shrunk, our share of global wealth has shrunk, the world got richer and we got poorer. While other nations built the future, South Africa taxed it and wasted it and chased it away and then blamed history when the economy stopped growing. The result is visible in a single brutal reality. Every decade since the start of the 90s, South Africans have owned less of the world's wealth and produced less of the world's income than ever before. The planet as a whole has gotten richer, but not in this country. By the mid-80s, a decade before the ANC took over our political landscape, the average South African had purchasing power that was around 7 times higher than the average person in China, and twice that of the average person in Chile. Our national wealth at the time was quite comparable to Brazil as a whole, and our national income was around 10 times that of China. Yet, over the past 3.5 decades, we have fallen, and we fell hard. Today, our economy is a mere shadow of its former self. Relative to other countries, our national wealth has shrunk by an astonishing 75% since the ANC took over. Our purchasing power has been reduced from being twice that of Chile to less than half that of Chile, meaning they grew 4 times more in the past 30 years than we did. Likewise, both Brazil and China have around double our purchasing power per person, and our national wealth has been absolutely dwarfed when compared to the rest of the world, such as the US and China. These shifts represent a fundamental reversal in South Africa's global economic position. In the mid-80s, South Africa's per capita income and wealth placed it firmly among the most prosperous emerging countries in the world. The average South African, and importantly this includes people of all races and colors, produced and controlled a larger share of global output and wealth per person than most of the rest of the world, and in several cases even exceeded parts of Southern and Eastern Europe, as well as Latin America and Asia. And take Poland for example. Back in 1994, the GDP of the two countries were very similar in terms of purchasing power parity. And yet today, Poland's GDP is more than double that of South Africa in terms of purchasing power parity. In fact, in 1994, Poland's GDP per capita was 5% lower than South Africa's, whereas today it is about 4 times higher. Again, another country just like Chile, which grew 4 times larger than South Africa since the ANC took over, where it was smaller than South Africa right before they took over. By the late 70s, over 70% of the world's gold was produced in South Africa. Yet today, gold production has collapsed by 80% to just 1/5 of what it once was. While the gold is still underground and South Africa still has the vast majority of the world's gold reserves, mines that once poured ounces now barely eke out grams. Meanwhile, the gold mining workforce shrank from over 500,000 people to roughly 90,000. Think about this. Even while our population has exploded, the mining industry employs almost 500,000 people less than it did 30 years ago. But the long-term trajectory since then shows a sustained erosion of that position. When a country moves from having twice the purchasing power and income of a peer economy to less than half, it reflects nothing short of economic collapse in this country. While other countries have expanded their productive capacity, increased their savings and accumulated capital, South Africa's share of world wealth contracted decade after decade for more than 30 years. Today, South Africans command merely a quarter of the economic claim on the global resources that they did prior to the ANC coming to power. Just a quarter. Just imagine that. South Africa has shrunk by 4 times since the ANC took over compared to the rest of the world. But of course, this didn't happen just because of fate or bad luck or structural legacies as the left-wing government propagandists would have us believe. It happened as a direct result of destructive political and economic policies, policies that strangle productivity with regulation, policies that punish investment instead of attracting it, politicians prioritizing race ideology over competence, cadre deployment over merit, and so-called redistribution of wealth over productivity. All of this has actually led the country to deindustrialize, hollowing out its middle class, and continually bleeding capital and skills with no remedy for the wound. The rest of the world accelerated while South Africa moved to the opposite direction. Since the ANC assumed power, business confidence and investment have cratered with long-term stagnation, replacing any sense of growth within South Africa, especially the sort of growth South Africa once enjoyed, especially during the 60s to 80s. Moreover, unemployment and inequality have soared among the worst in the world. Business confidence has plummeted, and investment has collapsed under successive ANC policy frameworks, contributing to virtually no economic growth and raising unemployment among, ironically, especially black people. The consequence is a structural decline in relative prosperity and a decline in the GDP per capita over an extended period of time, measurable across purchasing power, income, and all wealth metrics. This shocking reality of just how much the ANC has destroyed this country's economy becomes particularly visible across 3 decades of international comparison to emerging economies in Latin America and especially Asia. What is needed in this country is a complete overhaul of social, political, and economic policies, and we need the government to do exactly that which the US has called upon to do over a year ago. Stop all forms of discrimination against white people and other minority groups, although we know that they are not discriminated against nearly as badly as against white people. Stop the persecution of Afrikaners through calls of genocide by elected officials, and acknowledge people's right to territorial and ethnic and cultural self-determination and encourage them to do so. Encourage all communities in South Africa to work towards more autonomy and more self-determination and less reliance on government. Sadly, this government seems to have opted for the exact opposite of this direction, and the consequences for the people of this country is already dire in the short term. Nonetheless, in the long run, we increasingly have the encouraging prospect of the ANC ultimately politically self-destructing on the path they have chosen for themselves and for this country. But the sad part is that while the ANC is self-destructing, they are destroying the country along with themselves. And it is therefore high time that we start preparing for a new dispensation in South Africa and a new reality coming to this country. In a recent video, we highlighted how this imminent destruction of the ANC is inevitable. Check out this report by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right now. And if you enjoy our content, please consider becoming a paid member of the Willem Petzer Group. In order for us to produce this quality of content on a daily basis, we need a large group of highly qualified researchers. Be sure to support us in paying their salaries by following the easy steps on the banner underneath me. Goodbye and God bless.